Caitlyn, welcome back to the podcast. This is super exciting to have you back on again. And today it's for a hot seat episode, which is funny because I'm not going to lie. Like, we were just chatting before we hit record, and I completely forgot this was a hot seat episode we were recording. I was thinking we were talking about something completely different. And now I'm feeling stressed. So
Well, here we are.
I'm bracing myself for the questions coming my way because I wasn't like in the headspace to be like, oh yeah, hot seat day, which is probably just as well because now you're getting the real unfiltered answers. So yeah, I'm excited to hand things over. How are you doing today, Caitlin? How's things going your side?
I'm good. I'm keeping very busy. So this is a nice break from over here where I was working. So this is good.
I love it. Yeah, you're recording in your studio. I love seeing your studio in the background. It's such a vibe.
It's a mess, but it's a vibe. Yeah.
It's a like artistic, messy vibe. It's like a true creative space. I love it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I love it. Before we even dive in, do you want to just give everyone a bit of like your background and what kind of jewelry you make so they have some context? Obviously, you guys can also go listen to our previous podcast Caitlin's been on where she really dives into her story, but like just give everyone a little bit of context so they know who you are before we get started.
Yeah. Okay. My name is Caitlyn Chapman. My business is called Caitlyn Chapman Studio. Very easy. I make wild and wearable coastal art jewelry here on the west coast of Canada on Vancouver Island. I'm based in Victoria right now. Most of my work is lost wax cast. Starts out as tiny little wax sculptures, and then my hubby, who does all my casting, does the burnout and does magic and makes wax into metal, and we go from there.
I love it. I love that it's a like husband and wife kind of duo partnership here. And we should actually talk about that. I know it's not like a full partnership, but it's quite the partnership.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah, you're very lucky to have someone who's able to work with you in that way. And actually, we should definitely dive into that at some point. But I'm going to hand over the reins anytime. Amazing. We'll bring you back on soon to dive in. But I'm going to hand over the reins to you, Caitlin, and you can kick us off with the hot seat. And yeah, let's see how this goes.
Okay. Okay, Robyn, get comfy in that hot seat of yours.
Yeah. I'm as comfortable as I can be. Also, like side notes, I'm not delaying the questions, but I did just tell Caitlin I did the stupidest thing I've ever done just before we started. I came on this podcast to record it, and I've never done this before, and I don't know why I decided to do this just before getting on a podcast. But it is so dry right now where I live in Kelowna. Like the air is insanely dry. And my hair was getting all static. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to put like some cream, like hair stuff on it. And I wasn't thinking. And instead of grabbing my hair stuff, I grabbed body oil. I put more than I should have in my hands. And I just like covered my hair. So now it's a whole vibe. Not a good vibe, but it's a vibe.
We get ponytail Robyn today, which is a rarity.
Ponytail Robyn, which is probably not going to happen again, but it's happening today.
I feel special now, so that's good.
I love it. Okay, kick us off, Caitlin.
Okay, Robyn. Well, I think I'm going to kick it off by talking to you about your creativity a little bit. Because we're always talking about business, and, you know, often there's a lot of numbers and strategy, and, you know, most of us working with you or in this kind of orbit around you, we're creative people, and a lot of us wouldn't, you know, have our businesses without creativity. So I want to talk about yours. I've even heard you say on your podcast that you don't consider yourself an artist, but everyone needs a creative outlet for mental health or for fun. I'd love to know what you do to keep your creative muscles strong, or do you have a creative hobby, or are you still designing jewelry? Like what do you get up to, Robyn?
Yeah, this is such a good question, Caitlin. And yeah, you know what? It's funny because I would never consider myself an artist, but I've always been creative my whole life, like since I was a kid. Like I got my first sewing machine when I was 6 or 7. I was doing fabric painting. I was making jewelry when I was like super, super young. I did basically every possible creative thing that you can do. Like I did it all, and I did it obsessively.
Oh, that's so
And
cute.
so I did that for many, many years, and then obviously went into jewelry and then went into coaching. And what has happened over the years is I've obviously gone through so many different seasons. And so my creative outlet has looked really, really different in those different seasons. So, I've gone through seasons when I used to play piano a lot, and that was my creative outlet for
Oh,
many, many
wow.
years.
Lovely.
And then it was the jewelry. And then when I got into the coaching, quite honestly, like, if you just look at how much work your jewelry business is, for example, how much headspace, how much time, how much energy, it takes a lot, depending
Mm-hmm.
on how quickly you're wanting to grow, like where you're at it. And so with the coaching business, what I found was that actually it required so much creative energy, because it wasn't just the creative energy of building my business, like if I was building a jewelry business, but it was the creative energy of like pouring into all of my clients as well. And
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So it's not just the supporting it, it's the creative aspects, the creative strategy development, all of that. And then things like the podcast, which to me feels like a creative outlet. Like I
Mm-hmm.
love, love, love the podcast. I find it like a form of creativity. And then some people are going to hate this, but Instagram content, I love. Like, I just
Totally.
feel like it's a creative outlet. I feel like I can have fun with it. I don't box myself in saying things have to look a certain way. And I allow it to be scrappy sometimes. I allow it to be messy, and I allow
Mm-hmm.
myself to change my opinion or my views on how I want my content to be, and just have fun with it. Because, when you're not having fun with it, it becomes a really draining thing. So I know this is probably not the answer you want to hear, but it's something I learned many, many years ago, because I remember I really admired this one business owner that organized a lot of events for small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
She was extremely successful, very busy, but always had this very calm aura about her. She was always very like energized and excited and calm and grounded all in one. And I
Wow.
remember asking her, like, how are you doing this? Like, you're doing so much, you're building so many businesses here, you're doing so well, and you always have this aura as though you're like on vacation. It was
Amazing.
such a vibe. And I was like, how do you do this? And she's like, oh, I don't see like my work life and my personal life is like completely separate. Like I enjoy the work I'm doing. I see this as like a fun thing. And it's that perspective shift. And obviously there's a balance there. You don't want to have an unhealthy obsession. Well, there's more I could say about that, because obviously I actually encourage my clients to have a bit of an obsession with what they're doing. I think it's very healthy and it can be used in a really good way. But what I took from that was like a lot of what we do as a perspective, like we can change the story we're telling ourselves about something we're doing by changing our perspective on it. So I could have said in the first few years of building the coaching business, when I was incredibly busy working incredibly long hours, I could have told myself the story that I'm sacrificing so much building this business. I don't even have time to pour into creative outlets like going back to piano or making jewelry or painting stuff, which I'm the worst painter. I get frustrated. But like, let's say I wanted to do anything of those things, I could have told myself the story, this business is forcing me to sacrifice my creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I told myself the story, this business is my creative outlet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm having so much fun, like developing my creative outlet through this business. And in like down the line, it's going to open up time for me to actually pursue new creative outlets.
Right.
Which I'll be quite honest with you right now, I don't think like my hobbies are like Pilates. It used to be tennis. Right now, it's very much Pilates. We're in winter. In the summer, it's going to the beach and hiking. And winter, I do a ton of hikes. When it comes to creative outlets, it's the podcast, it's my Instagram. And that's just where and the retreat, which I've
Mm-hmm.
been working on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're so
Mm-hmm.
excited about it, but that takes so much creative energy, and it really energizes me to spend time working on that. And so that's where I'm pouring my energy, my creative energy right now. So what do you think about that, Caitlin? Are you
That's
disappointed
honestly
by the answer? Let
no,
me know.
no. That's honestly what I expected you to say, because I see you when we're, for example, in our group calls and you get a question from one of the students, and I can see you think on your feet
Mm,
and come up with a creative answer and a creative solution to whatever their problem may be. And it's quick, and it's obviously a well honed and learned skill that you
mhm,
have figured out and worked on over time. It's obvious. I can see it,
yeah.
um, and yeah, your answer just kind of confirmed for me that yeah, that is obviously your creative muscle at work. And
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. And yeah, my follow-up question to that was going to be about, okay, well, if that's the case, then what are your hobbies? And you said Pilates and hiking and so on. I know I see you
Yeah.
hiking and getting outside in the summer on your Insta stories. That's lovely.
Yeah, it's a dream, you know. Cologne is just so easy to hike. It's one of the reasons I moved here. And actually,
Mm-hmm.
so in winter I hike. We go on around 2 hikes a week in winter. Summer
Mm-hmm.
it's more because it's just so easy, 2 or 3 or 4 hikes a week in summer. And
Yeah.
then beaches. Like we have so
Mm-hmm.
many beaches here. I just love being by the water. Anything around the water, I'm obsessed with. I'll probably pick up tennis now that I've settled into the city here. So in summer,
Mm.
I'll probably pick up tennis again. But yeah, Pilates and just being in like going for hikes. I go I go for these hikes. We call them our hot chocolate hikes, but on Sundays it's a hot chocolate hike where we grab a hot chocolate and then go hiking through the forest, which is a whole vibe. Like I love it.
It's amazing how close proximity you can go get a specialty hot chocolate and then go for a hike
Yeah,
all on
it's the
foot.
best. It's the best. I love it.
Uh,
So I think those are my main hobbies right now. I have a ton of hobbies I really want to take up that I just
mhm,
haven't had time or capacity for because I also get frustrated if
mhm.
I can't do things well. So
Yeah,
if
I
I don't
feel
have
that.
the time, yeah, if I don't have the time to like fully commit to getting good at something, I'm like, I'm just going to wait till a season where I can go all into that. So, you know, one of the things I really want to get back into is dancing. And it's
Mhm.
just like, oh, the timing of classes and stuff. It's like 8 p.m. classes. I am in bed by 8 p.m. Like, that's a
Right.
late time for me. And I'm like, maybe this is not the season of life for that.
Oh.
I used to be a horse rider as well. That's something I
Oh.
definitely want to introduce back into my life. But that's a really big time commitment. And I'm like, you know what? There's different seasons for everything. Maybe when I'm 50, I'll get back
Yeah.
into it and I have like 40, 50 years of having that in back in my life, you
Yeah,
know?
I feel that too. I used to be a horseback rider, so
You were. I remember that.
and I gave it up, yeah, because it's just such an expensive and time-consuming hobby, and
Very.
yeah, but I miss it a
It's the
lot.
best. I know.
Yeah,
It's the best. It's really special. So,
yeah, big time.
yeah. How
Okay,
about you? What are your hobbies, Caitlin,
I don't
outside
have
of the
any.
jewelry business? I,
Well, when I quit photography and got into jewelry, photography kind of became more of a hobby, obviously, because it wasn't my job anymore.
mm,
I would love to do it more, and I would love to get back into shooting with film a little bit too, just for the fun of it.
mm,
Um, yeah, again, and hobbies take time, but
yeah.
yeah, my photography is fun, and I would love to be able to paint. If and when we get into a bigger house, I'm definitely going to be painting again. That I
That
would
would
love
be
that.
so fun. Oh my
And
goodness.
hiking and beach combing and all the West Coast stuff that
Yeah.
we like to do together. But it's something that you have to carve out time for. It's especially when the weather is all over the place in the spring and the fall.
Mm.
Who knows? Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what's interesting just thinking about this hobby question is right now, like being an entrepreneur, it's not like a huge priority for me because I have flexibility with my time.
Mm-hmm.
So integrating things I like hiking, it's so easy for me to
Mm-hmm.
integrate that. Yeah. I haven't integrated things like horse riding because that's like a 3 hour thing every time you do it. It's quite
Mm-hmm.
the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in the corporate world, what I found was that hobbies were like an essential.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's partly because, and this can vary depending on everyone's experiences, but for me, like, I didn't feel super fulfilled just
Mm-hmm.
by my job. And
Mm-hmm.
so those hobbies and extracurricular things were so crucial to like make me feel like my life was a bit more well-rounded and had a bit more meaning to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
was doing more things that lit me up. Whereas, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, like you were saying, I'm assuming photography was a hobby, making jewelry was a hobby. All these things that you now do as your job were hobbies that you've now integrated into your life. And so that like need to have to do all these other little hobbies on the side, it's like, well, you already have so much fulfillment and meaning through the things you're doing every day. So the hobbies are a bonus and they're fun and we want to be able to do them, but they're not like as essential. What are your thoughts on that?
Yep. No, I agree for sure. I yeah, I definitely get more than enough fulfillment for my sweet little brain out of jewelry, but there are definitely days where I'm feeling a little stir crazy and need to do something else, which is where the
Yeah.
photography comes in. Or if my hubby can swing it, I can drag him out for a hike or something. But
Nice.
yeah, I don't feel like I did when I had a day job where I just was like, oh my God, I have to do something fun or
Mm-hmm.
something, you know, that's different. The jewelry keeps me pretty well stimulated.
I can totally believe that.
Yeah, busy too, but that's a whole other story.
Busy is good. Busy is
Yes.
good. Do
Yeah.
you want to kick us off with the next question?
Yeah. Let's see. I wanted to ask you about your, I mean, you must feel some days the weight of you have a huge group of clients and
Mm-hmm.
we are all always peppering you with questions and issues, and it's your job and it's what we pay you for, but it must start to weigh on you. How do you feel inspired and motivated to show up every single day for yourself and for us? Because we're always happy to see you there showing up on the video. So how do you do it? How do you continue to feel good doing that?
Yeah, this is such a big question. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like, I can give you the short answer, or I can give you like a bit more of the longer answer, but it's a full podcast worth of answer. But
Yeah.
I'll try meet in the middle somewhere. And what I can say is that I have never worked as hard as I do in this coaching business. Like nothing compares to it. The intensity and the like consistency and everything, like I've never done anything like this before at this level. It doesn't even like the corporate world was easy on one level compared to this. And it's so interesting because I am much more lit up by the work that I do. I'm much more energized by it and much more fulfilled by it. And that makes a huge difference. But many, many years ago, before I really got into the coaching, I hit absolute rock bottom, like as low as you can go. It was a very, very tough time because I didn't feel like I had found, like, I didn't feel like I was doing the work I was put on this earth to do at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like I had a deep sense of purpose. I was very much struggling to like want to continue being here. So it was just a
Mm-hmm.
very tough season of life. And when I really dived into the coaching and really pursued it and really saw the impact it was having, it gave me such a deep sense of fulfillment. And it became like,
Mm-hmm.
it's such a strong why for me. I feel like this is my calling. I feel like this is exactly the work I'm meant to be doing on this earth. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, there's moments where the weight of what everybody is going through, you know, as you said, we have a lot of clients, and not only am I supporting them in their business, but I know a lot of what's going on behind the scenes in their personal life as well. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we have clients losing family members, losing partners, in dealing with hospitals, surgeries, emergencies, divorces, anything you can think of. Like it's happening at any given time within our
Mm-hmm.
community. And, you know, you're supporting them through the highs and lows of business. So there's a certain amount of, I don't want to say detachment.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, okay, if you're going into surgery, if you're rushed into surgery and your surgeon is super attached to you and they're
Mm-hmm.
emotional and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad this is happening. They're sobbing. Do you really want them performing surgery on you? It's
Mm-hmm.
like,
That's right.
no. And
No,
so,
thank you.
yeah. And so I've had to really develop like a sense of detachment as much as I love and care about all my clients. But you have to detach a little bit from everything that you're taking on because, like, the things that happen on a weekly basis, it's a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of the things I've had to practice is a sense of detachment so that I can show up best for every single client.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I've had to have are non-negotiables. And so one of my biggest non-negotiables is my energy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have to prioritize things that are going to give me the best energy, and I have to invest in things that are going to give me the best energy, the best headspace, everything, because my priority is supporting my clients to the very best of my abilities every single day. So
Mm-hmm.
that means that I have, really strict boundaries with myself in terms of what other things I'm saying yes to. And I'm in a season of saying no to pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
The only things I'm saying yes to are my clients and like things that are specifically around our business. And I'm saying no to a lot of other opportunities because I just know that's going to be too much on top of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The other thing, like, that I just see it as such a privilege that I get to do the work I do. And so I will always like look after myself so I can best support my clients. So, foods. This sounds so silly, but I get triggered by a ton of foods and I get brain fog from them, like severe brain fog,
Oh,
where I can
interesting.
barely cope. And so I just have like non-negotiable foods that I'm not touching. It doesn't
Right.
matter. Like, I'm just not touching it. Maybe I'll have it on a Sunday if I'm like, okay, well, I'm not coaching on a Sunday. But
Right.
during the week, it's just like, no, we're not touching those foods. I know I need movement, even though when it's snowing like this, I'm like, I don't want to go. But I know that's a non negotiable. I know like things like Pilates energizes me, keeps me fueled. I know things like going on trips. Like, I recently just had to get away to the sun because that isn't to me just like a trip. That to me is investing in myself and
Mm-hmm.
investing in my business.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, if I burn out or if I start feeling resentful because I'm tired,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to have a negative impact on everyone. So I invest a lot into myself, into my health, into my wellness. I have therapists, I have a whole support system to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
I can show up in the best way possible for all my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm doing that every single day. We're checking in. Yeah, you're right. We have a ton of questions in the Facebook group. And what's really important to me is that I'm answering every single person's question in the best way possible and also taking into account everything I know about them and their business and their situation and their goals so that they can get the best feedback possible. So, yeah, let me know if that answers your question.
It totally does. It totally does. And yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. And
Mm.
you know, I kind of saw that answer coming, and honestly, as having had a business for I'm going on 5 years now, and spending 6 months or whatever with you,
Mhm.
it seems obvious to me now that um, no matter what your business is, that if you are a business owner, a small biz on your own or a very small team, your self care and health and mental state is the most important thing that you can take care of in your business.
Oh,
Being
100%.
an insane workaholic and a martyr and overdoing it every single day, every single week is not it. It's
Mm.
just not. And it's kind of one of the first things that I started to get an inkling of as a business owner, and was reinforced by what you teach, that it's just not it. You have to take care of yourself, and you have to learn how to say no and set your boundaries. And because you're it, especially
Mhm.
in a business like this, I've learned, where I work with my hands,
Yeah.
I work with my body, and it's just it's Caitlyn of Caitlyn Chapman Studio. She's the only Caitlyn,
Mhm.
um, and you're the only Robyn. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
It's a non-negotiable. You're
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I like when you say that non-negotiable. I have a non-negotiable. It's like, yeah, there's no negotiating on this.
Yeah, you're so right, Caitlin. And you know what's really hard? And this is where I struggled for many years is I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to take care of myself, but only when I'm like at the brink of burnout. Then
Oh
I'll
yeah.
pull back. Then I'll go on a trip. Then I'll do all this stuff. And it's been such a hard thing to reframe to be like, no, no, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going on trips or I'm doing this way before I feel that way because I never want to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to keep pushing yourself till you absolutely, your body's saying no and you have to step back
Mm-hmm.
because that's, I mean, it's not good. And I think it's interesting we're talking about this because I had another hot seat episode a few weeks ago with Charu, I think it was
Mm-hmm.
Charu or Steph, and we were talking about people pleasing, which is
Mm-hmm.
essentially this. And
Mm-hmm.
I have a really good book recommendation that I shared in that episode, and I'll share it again here because it's had a huge impact on me. And it's The Disease to Please. And
Oh.
yeah, it's powerful. And one of the most powerful things and the most challenging things that, I've had to become really good at is understand that it's okay to disappoint people. Now, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about disappointing clients. I'm talking about people who are just, taking when you're working in other opportunities or doing other projects or friends or whoever it may be in your situation. But learning to say no, accepting that they might be disappointed, and that's okay.
That's
It's
okay.
not the end of the world for people to be disappointed because you're setting boundaries. It's not
Mm-hmm.
even a problem if they are angry or upset
Mm-hmm.
about you, about
Mm-hmm.
something you're saying no to. It's okay to prioritize yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's so
Absolutely.
hard to do. So it's easy to
It
talk
is.
about. It's another thing to put into practice.
It is.
And it's something that is a non-negotiable if you want to grow your business.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You are the foundation of your business,
Yeah, 100%.
upon
There's
which everything
nothing
else is
else
built.
without you.
Yeah. Yeah. So take care of that brain and that body.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I was listening to one of your other hot seats the other day. I think it was with Nita. I can't remember. I think so. Um, you were talking about making friends and
Mm,
how much easier you were finding it in Kelowna, in your new city, than
yeah.
previously back east. Um, which kind of leads me into my third question. I just wanted to ask how you feel, because the majority of your work, your client work, your marketing work, even I think a lot of interacting with your team is all done online.
Mm.
So I wanted to know, does that feel isolating for you or frustrating? And have you found that you have found a renewed determination to go out and build more friendships outside of work?
Yeah, this is such a good question because, yeah, the reality is our whole business is completely online. Most of our team is in Ontario. We have team in South Africa as well. We have team members all over. We have clients in like, I don't know, so many countries, literally
All over
around
the
the
world.
world,
Yeah.
like Australia. We have Portugal, I think Spain still,
Mm-hmm.
Holland, UK.
Mm-hmm.
We have multiple clients in Africa. We have tons in the US, tons in Canada, basically all over the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really grateful that we have this online business and that we're able to connect and support people in that way. But you do get Zoom fatigue for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And I think when I
Mm-hmm.
was living in Ontario, I rarely felt it.
Mm-hmm.
In Kelowna, I don't feel it so much because I I don't know what it is. Like the culture here is just different. It's so interesting because it's the same country, but the culture here is so different. And there's so
Mm-hmm.
many entrepreneurs where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of integrated into an incredible community as pretty much as soon as I got here.
Oh, that's
And I
amazing.
continue to meet people. And it's not even that I'm actively going out with that mindset of, oh, I want to keep meeting people, because I did that for years in Ontario and I didn't get very far. I joined all the clubs. I did everything you could have possibly done and I got nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's just been kind of effortless. And I think that human connection and like real human contact without the screen is so, so crucial.
So important.
It's like it impacts your health big time.
It does.
Like
Big time.
it's, I don't remember where I heard this, but I mean, there's something to do with you not really connecting with people and not really like being very isolated has severe negative impacts on your health. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm somebody who
Mm-hmm.
thrives alone. I love my alone time, but it
Mm-hmm.
definitely is not a good thing. So I wouldn't say that I struggle with the online thing because I thrive with it now because I have so many other connections. You know, I remember reading this article about why some like planned socialization feels really draining because I don't like
Yes.
planned socialization.
Yes.
I I'll have like a day when I'm like, yeah, let's make all these plans, and then I regret it immediately, and then I dread it for the next three
Dread
weeks
it.
or 1 week or whenever, because there's
Yes.
something about a plan thing, even if it's just an hour coffee,
Yeah.
it just drains me. The
I'm the
thought of
same
it just
way.
drains me. It doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
who it's with. It doesn't matter if I love them. Like, it's just draining.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember reading this article about this. I don't know what he was called, a social city
Something.
person who
Yeah.
looks at these different interactions people have in different cities. And he said
Ah.
that cities like Barcelona or lots of little cities in Europe are walkable. And so what happens, it's in every small like little block, there's a
Mm-hmm.
school, there's a church, there's a post office, there's a grocery store, there's coffee shops, there's apartments. And so on your daily interactions with people, you're walking your kid to school and bumping into your neighbor and having a 3-minute chat and then sitting at the park for 3, 5, 10 minutes and talking to someone you know. And then you're having all these little social interactions throughout your day that aren't planned, but that
Mm-hmm.
are deeply fulfilling and energizing.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada and the US, I think as well, because things are just so far, because people are so busy, you kind of do have to plan, especially in
Mm-hmm.
Ontario. I mean, if you wanted to like meet a friend in Toronto, that's a full day activity if you're coming from
Oh
outside the
gosh.
city.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have to plan like 6 weeks in advance. It has to be a full day thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
no joke. And that's really draining. That's
Mm-hmm.
really draining. And so what I've loved about Kelowna is you have that European aspect where every time I go for a walk, I bump into people who I've got to know or
Mm-hmm.
friends that I know. And we have little conversations, or, you know, I'll often go to one of my favorite coffee shops and I'll bump into someone I know and we'll just have a spontaneous 1 hour like social thing. And then I'll get back to my work. And that I
So
find
nice.
really energizing. I just love it.
It's so nice.
It's the best.
That's so good to hear.
Mm.
Um, yeah, like you were saying, that's urban planning, which is a whole
Yeah.
other podcast topic that
Yeah.
doesn't even it's not even in our realm. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like a walkable city makes such a huge difference.
It
And
makes such a difference to your mental health.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's interesting because I always would have thought I'd want to live in the suburbs. Now living in a city
Mm-hmm.
where it's a quiet city, like it's not overwhelming at all. It takes 10 minutes to walk from one side to the other kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
there's not too many people and there's not too many big buildings. There's not too much traffic. It's like, wow, the right cities can be so energizing.
Mm-hmm. It's such a nice small city. It's just the right
Yeah.
size.
And I
Yeah.
think you have the same in Victoria, don't you? It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very similar vibe.
Yeah, we live downtown and walk wherever we need to go 99% of the time. We do have a vehicle that we can jump in if I use it for market days and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, mostly we walk wherever we need to go. It's great.
It makes such a
It's
difference.
it's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Like it a lot. So you must be really looking forward to the retreat then.
Yes, I wanted to say, I meant to talk about the retreats in your previous question, actually,
Well, that
because
leads in nicely. Yeah.
yeah, I'm so excited for this retreat. Last year, last year was our first retreat, and I have wanted to run retreats probably for like the past 15 years, which is long before I even started this business.
Right.
I just had this like dream of like bringing people that are like-minded together in like a mountain air kind of situation and doing fun and energizing and exciting things and growing together and learning together and connecting deeply.
Mm-hmm.
I think for so many years I really don't thrive with superficial friendships or conversations. Like, I just can't handle it. I
Mm-hmm.
really crave depth in relationships, in friendships, and everything.
Right.
And I wanted to create spaces where people could deeply connect, because I find that the world we're living in is so fast paced. Everyone's rushing. It's hard to develop those deep connections with friends and with
Mm-hmm.
like-minded people.
Yeah,
So that was
absolutely.
literally a dream for many years, and I didn't know it would be for jewelry business owners. But I remember seeing this woman in Australia. I actually think she may have been the actress who was in Greece, who ended up opening a retreat center in
Oh yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing her like flowing out in her white outfit in the greenery, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do the same thing.
How
It was
dreamy.
such a vibe. And it just felt so wholesome. And so, yeah, last year was our first retreat. And, I thought it was going to be good. I didn't realize how just deeply fulfilling it was going to be,
Wow.
how like powerful it was going to be, the transformations that clients were going to experience,
Yeah.
and how different it was from online. Because I had clients who I've worked with for years
Right.
come to
Yeah.
the retreat, meet them in
Yeah.
person for the first time, and we went deeper than you can go online. Like,
Right.
it makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, to be in the same room with someone and be able to kind of feel their energy and see kind of the small facial expressions and the way
Yeah,
their body moves, and you may not be picking up on it consciously, but subconsciously it makes all the difference to be within
that
someone's
space.
aura. Yeah.
Yeah, and to have the whole group there in this, like, and we went through all
Mhm.
the emotions. We were laughing, then we were crying, then we
Mhm.
went through everything, and everyone went through it together. And like, everyone who came to that retreat is bonded for life. Like, it
Yeah, for
feels like a
sure.
family.
Yeah.
Feels like a family. And so, yeah, I don't know what your question was around the retreat, but I am so excited. We have our retreat webinar coming up. It will probably have come and gone by the time this podcast comes out,
Oh
where
yeah,
we're sharing
probably.
all the details. Um, but it's just going to be so incredible. We've made it better than last year. We've made it a little longer. We have more coaching sessions and workshops, and we're limiting the number because, as much as I want as many people to come as possible, I saw the value in being able to connect and talk to each and every person who attended, and actually like have help each person have breakthroughs. And it's hard to do that if the group's too big. So
Yep.
we have had to cap it, as much as I want to be like, everybody come. But
Right.
we want it to be powerful. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I am so
exciting.
excited. I can't wait. And we have a dreamy venue right on the lake. Like, everything's walkable. Everything's like a 3-minute walk. The
Oh, that's
hotels,
huge.
restaurants, the place where we'll be coaching is right on the lake. You have these dreamy lake views. It's just going to be such a vibe.
Oh, that's exciting. I can't wait to see all the
Gonna
details.
be so good. Caitlin, are you committing to coming?
I'd like to. I have no idea what my next few months are going to look like,
I
though,
know.
so
With the
we'll have to
move.
see. I know. I'm
With the
just like,
move.
I can't plan anything.
I know. It's so hard. So hard when you're moving.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Hopefully.
see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. I'm up there often anyway, though, so.
I know. I know. It'll be so fun.
Yeah. Robyn, I think that is about the end of my questions. We did 3 big ones. I guess, yeah, my follow-up for that one was just like, yeah, were you feeling excited for the retreat? Yeah, which we've covered. Because I think the answer to that one was obvious. You're obviously excited for the retreat.
Yeah. You know what? It's interesting because I definitely have a different energy towards it this year than last year.
Yeah, is it just, oh, well, I don't know how much you're willing to share quite yet, but is it just you this year, or do you have guest coaches this year?
It is going to be me. We may have a guest coach. It will be a new guest coach that I'm really potentially excited about, but we're not going to share any details
Oh, that's exciting.
just until closer to the time. Um, but yeah, it's just different because last year I was excited, but I was also, a little bit nervous because you have people flying in. We had people from Australia, from the UK, from the US, Canada coming in for this retreat. And it's like, yeah, I've coached for years, but I've never run a retreat like this.
It was your first
Um,
one,
it
yeah.
was my first one. And I was uh, like in theory, I think I know how this is going to go down, but you never actually know till you do it. You
Right.
never know. And so I was excited, but I was very, very nervous
Mm-hmm.
as well at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, just seeing how it couldn't have gone any better
Mm-hmm.
and knowing
So
that this
cool.
year we're going to double down on everything that went so well. And like we've added so many other bonuses, we've extended it, we have even more coaching sessions, and
Yeah.
we've just made it even better. Like I'm just so excited. We have our team flying out for it, our whole team's flying out for it, so they
Oh,
can help and
nice.
support all the clients as well. And so, yeah, I'm pumped about it. It's going to
Oh, that's
be
exciting.
really a powerful experience for everyone who comes.
Hell yeah. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
Yeah.
exciting.
It's going to be amazing.
I can't wait to hear all the details.
Yeah, we'll share them with you soon.
Yay.
And thank you so much for putting me in the hot seat, Caitlin. This has been so much fun.
Oh, it was a delight.
Amazing. Well, do you want to share your Instagram so people can follow and connect with you as well
Yeah, you can
while
always
we're
find
here?
me on my Instagram, which is at Caitlyn Chapman Studio, or my website, CaitlynChapman.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Caitlin. This has been so much fun. And yeah, hopefully we get to see you at the retreat. That would be wonderful.
Thank you, Robyn. Yeah, I would love to come to the retreat. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.